Well, how dare they threaten people like this? Let's begin. Okay, I'd just like to say a massive thank you to Simon for sending this letter in. Let's get into it. So what's the first thing you think of when you see this letter land on your map? Doesn't really say much, does it? Apart from your IN 0100 A27 on the front, which you may think, what the hell's that? So out of curiosity, we open it up, and who do we see it's from? Of course, in the top right-hand corner, TV licensing, or the bar stewards, as I like to call them. On the left-hand side, we've got the legal occupier, which means that, to be honest, they're clutching at straws because they haven't got a clue who lives there. Then we've got your statist, unlicensed, in bold green, although that may not come through in the video. The date, July, and the reference number, which of course may or may not be made up. And then a very official HMRC tax-looking code, your IN 0100A27, which, what the hell does that mean? Is that a number they just plucked from the sky? They make these codes up quite a bit of the time, it seems. Dear legal occupier. Admittedly, they could use the occupier, but legal does sound a little bit more intimidating, as if you legally are there. And in bold, IN 0100A27 code has been issued against this address, as if we're all meant to know what of course that means. We use it to target unlicensed homes like yours that require a visit from TV licensing enforcement officers. Well, to be honest, I don't require a visit at all, thank you very much. I've filled in your stupid form to let you know that I don't need a visit, so why are you sending people letters like this when they're more than likely done the same thing? And in bold again, because of course that is really intimidating, isn't it? This letter is a formal notification that your details have now been passed to our Stoke enforcement team, and you could be visited at any time of the day or evening, weekdays or weekends. Well, do you know what? I'm glad I went to the toilet before I read that, because if I hadn't, I'd be literally pooing myself right now. Actually, it's a pity I went to the toilet, because I could have used this letter as toilet paper, really. Anyway, never mind. Let's just go through that. Any time of the day, evening, weekend, or weekdays or weekend. Well, yes, TV licensing, they are times of the day. I mean, would you like to say any second of the day? I mean, I just don't get the point in saying that, to be honest. Why don't you just put any time? You could save so much more sentencing. And of course, in case you want us to think, oh, what about this day? What about that day? It's just ridiculous. And in bold green letters, we need to check you are not breaking the law. What, are you the police or something? Surely that's what the police do, isn't it? Check if people are breaking the law. You are not the police, you are not the tax, but you send out these very official looking letters seeming like you are when in fact you're not. And what's the point in us filling in this form every 2 years if you're just going to keep sending letters like this? It is a criminal offence to watch or record live TV programmes on any channel or device, or download or watch BBC programmes on iPlayer without being covered by a TV licence. Well, thanks for stating the bloody obvious. You could face prosecution and financial penalties. Upping their threats a bit here, aren't they? If enforcement officers, that sounds very official, doesn't it? Enforcement officers, very bailiff sounding like, find evidence of illegal TV viewing. Illegal TV viewing, eh? Can just imagine it, can't you? What's your crime? What are you in here for? I was watching Blind Date. You could be interviewed under caution in accordance with national criminal law, and which could lead to prosecution. The maximum penalty is a criminal conviction, a £1,000 fine plus any legal costs / or compensation you may be ordered to pay. The most common penalty that I've heard is around about £170, which is just a little bit more than the current TV licence. And in bold green, to stop this visit from the Stoke enforcement team, who by the sounds of that seem to have the power of the police, don't they, by that sort of word, and when in fact, obviously, they don't. And it's just a visit at the end of the day from them. You don't legally have to let them in at all, do you? They got about as much power here as a pizza delivery boy, in my opinion. You can buy a TV licence at this web address, or call this number if you feel like wasting time, I'm guessing. Payments start from £6 a week, which actually is wrong. £6 a week is roughly about £24 a month, but the TV licence itself is £13.25, I think it is, a month. So therefore, surely it's about just over £4 a week, not the £6 a week here. So it's not from. And to be honest, Any wording like that, if it was from any other company, would surely be on Watchdog, wouldn't it? And I think it's an absolute disgrace that they're still allowed to keep putting that wording in. You can of course see the reverse for more details about your payment options, because let's face it, they want their money any old way that you can give it to them. Or move an existing license to your current address at this address, web address. Or tell us you don't need a license at this address. Which, to be honest, if anything, should be the first option, isn't it? Because surely people receiving this most of the time would have filled in that 2-year form. And obviously it's probably lapsed or something. So surely they already know that they didn't need one previously. So they should put that as a first option, shouldn't they? To stop this enforcement visit to your home and change the status of your very threatening and scary code of IN 010OA27, code you need to, and in bold, capital, not capital letters, act now. They try to sound like the Terminator or something. You need to act now. Do it now. Yours faithfully, once again, it's Jane Jeffers. She gets about it quite a bit, doesn't she? She's an enforcement words are quite difficult. She is the enforcement manager for Stoke today. At the end of the day, though, I wouldn't really worry too much if you got a letter like this. I mean, obviously, the less hassle thing, so you don't get more letters, would be to reply to it and tell them you don't need a licence. But we shouldn't really need to do that, should we? It should be that if we needed a TV licence, we'd let them know. If not, then they should leave us alone, really, shouldn't they? Because why would we suddenly change to need a TV licence? It's absolutely ridiculous. And remember, you don't have to let them in. They can write a scary big boy frightening letter as much as they like. But at the end of the day, they can't prosecute you if they don't have any evidence. And they would get that evidence by coming in and doing their inspections. So if you don't let them in, they can't do their inspections, can they? Quite often or not, smart doorbells help with that, because you just look, see who's at the door, see his TV licence, and then just say, no thank you, bye-bye. Or you could do what I do and just laugh at them. Anyway, subscribe for more, and I'll see you in the next one.